Hi guys, we're here with Leah today from Revs down in Brighton. Bit of an audio exclusive here. This won't be on video. This will be exclusive to our audio channels. Links in the section. Hi guys, so today we are joined by Leah. She is the current GM of Revs down here in Brighton. A little bit of a technical difficulty, unfortunately. Our camera isn't working, so this will be for audio. So for all those who like to listen on audio, you're in for a treat. Those who like to on a visual basis, I'm afraid I've let you down. So thank you very much for joining me today, Leah. And yeah, if you just want to kind of run through, exactly what your experience is concerned. You've been in the industry for about 16 years, so you must have seen a lot of changes.
Huge changes within the industry, if I'm completely honest. But I've, run, small bars across the country and some super clubs also. Lots of different bars and different cities, which makes a big difference in the late night economy. For lots of reasons, partly customers and what they want, but also licensing and the police in that city and how they treat you, and also the ergonomics of how much money people have. And what type of customer, so whether it's student-based or whether it's more, based on, an older generation or, 18-year-olds. So lots of difference throughout my career, but certainly in the 16 years, it's massively changed.
How would you adapt then? How have you kind of managed to adapt from place to place? Because we were just talking a moment ago about how, you like to go off into the next venture, not necessarily to stay complacent in your own city.
Essentially, especially in branded, all companies would like to say that this is what they have and this is what their brand's about. But actually, it's very much about what the customer in your city believes you are. And you only have a certain amount that you can push their perception into the way that you want it to be pushed. Revolution has 70 bars across the country, and actually all of them are very, very niche and different in that city. And the reason for that is because of the customer perception. Right. So here we're very, very late night, right. Whereas some of our London sites are very, very daytime food orientated. Whereas in Brighton it's almost like the best kept secret that we serve food. People are very shocked by that because actually majority of people have only actually been to our front door after 10 p.m.
Do you guys collectively kind of get together, all the managers of Revs, and kind of hash out what the plans are, or is it up to the individual bar manager or general manager of each venue to kind of dictate what the next couple of months looks like?
A bit of both. Yeah. So as a brand, we obviously have a brand vision. Right. We then have areas that we then sit and talk within our own peer groups, and we definitely share over them peer groups a lot. And taking somebody else's idea is just amazing. The more ideas, there's a lot of us.
I'll take that. Yeah.
But also individual bars and not just managers in them bars, but the staff in them bars. Like everybody has an idea, and the people that work here, they're the people that go out. So they probably applied here because they came in here. Sure. So asking them what their opinion is and what they want to do and what they'd like to see us be able to do. And some of that is we're never going to be able to do that. We have a brand, and some of it is that's amazing. Let's see what we can do and do some craziness. So
with that in mind, then, what would you say some of the ideas that try and get pushed to the forefront that haven't happened, or ideas that have gone forward and haven't necessarily done the best in terms of maybe failures?
So essentially, like the bar here, we've been an established business now for over 9 years, and and for the last 2 years, won Bar of the Year within the company.
Brilliant. Which
is exceptional. But to continue that growth and to continue that going forward, we've looked at some additional space in the venue and gone, what can we do with this? Okay. And actually, in that 9-year period, nobody's looked at that and thought, we could build on that and we could make something happen. And for 6 months we've worked on that piece, and now we've got planning permission, and we're going to build and make us essentially bigger. Yeah. But also a little bit different in that area, rather than just being it's more space for more people. It's more about looking at what our general customers want and what their wider audience want, and trying to envision what people want in the future. Because obviously spending money on that scale is we don't want to then lose people on the other side of it.
Have you noticed in terms of spending money, people are perhaps maybe coming out less, or is it not necessarily affected you in this sense?
So over the last sort of probably 8 years, we obviously saw a massive downturn. You know, in the late night, and you know how much. And there's loads of factors for that. You know, social media being probably one of the biggest. You know, being
Has that
able
been
to.
Good or bad for you?
It's a bit of both.
Really?
So, you know, primarily the reason for going out, 10 years ago was to meet a partner. Now you essentially have to swipe left or right. I'm not sure which. You know, social can also help us in regards to, you know, being able to tell people what we're about and stuff. But that fear of missing out and that being able to tell people where you went out on a night out is really, really important. And Revolution's really good at that piece because, we do extravagant cocktails and we do make sure that we've got places in the venue that, you know, are very Instagrammable. Whereas sort of 10 years ago, it was all about how you felt in the venue. Now you're having to not just be able to have a picture that says, oh, this is amazing, but also emulate that feeling to somebody else through social. So when I go on social, or our customers go on social, being able to say, look what I did, but emulate the feeling that I had when I was there is really, really hard. And trying to get through that in pictures and videos, so that people can go, oh my God, I need to be there. Why wasn't I there? Or, oh, I need to try that out, is certainly a lot harder than it was 10 years ago when you didn't have that. It was just, oh, I had a really good night, I don't know why. Go there. Whereas now there's almost like we'll prove it.
Yeah.
And certainly there is, definitely within our customer base, a lot of people that, it's a very addictive thing, likes and shares. And, I want to seem the coolest person out there. So I want, to have the coolest experience for the right amount of money. So people definitely value money more than they used to. Mm-hmm. But actually, as a whole, over the last year, how much people spend on a night out has gone up by quite a lot. So last year, at this time, the average was £59 for a whole night out. That includes, what you're going to wear, taxis, food, whether you're going to the cinema. It's a night out. It's not just late night. And this quarter it's £70.
Where do you think that's come from then?
Partly because people are going out slightly less, but also partly because people want a bigger experience when they go out.
Okay.
So generally people, summer's always a little bit, as much as the figures are against last year, summer's always where people spend more on outfits and things like that because, I want to look good. I'm not just about wrapping it warm. It's about that, how I look piece, which is good. But also, the daytime drinking makes it a longer experience. We here have a massive garden which you can't move in on a night time, and that's not just because it's sunny in the day, but it's warm at night. It's a lot more social to be able to sit there and talk to your friends rather than actually just clubbing, which is a really important part for us. So having a late night venue that is able to do the clubbing piece that's loud and everybody's dancing, and be able to also have a sit down piece is really quite important. But certainly over the years, the garden's become more popular, and outside spaces as a whole have become more popular.
Is that something you then picked up on and thought, right, then we need to develop that into more of a selling point for the venue, so people go, right, let's go to Revs because they've got a great garden versus let's go to Revs because they play great music?
Certainly, and actually, we've introduced shisha into our garden.
Really?
Part of our expansion plan is part of the garden, to make that bigger. The social aspect's really, really important, and people say it all the time where, all these people just want to, be on social media and talk there. But actually, 18 to 22-year-olds value much more that face-to-face than people, anticipate they do.
Give them credit for, yeah.
And, they're a big core of our market. And actually that dips off when you get to 22 to 25, and then it regains after 25. So very weirdly, it's that 22 to 25 market that actually is more about social than actually the younger people. Okay. There's lots of research that goes into that says that's where they are. But on saying that, 73% of people post about their night out. And that's good or bad. So, it's all about making sure that experience is that good feeling piece.
How important would you say nightlife is in general, or more specifically Revs is, to the broader community? And how much of responsibility comes from within the venue to make sure that the community around you guys is prosperous, is good, is doing well, is safe, is healthy?
By far, one of the biggest problems that we have as an industry is the perception of it not being safe.
Right.
Bad things hit media a lot more than good things will ever.
Oh, of course.
Nobody's saying I had a really great night out, I got home safe, great stuff. Because nobody wants to read about that. However, very strangely, women value safety less than men. Men are much less forgiving if there's problems in a venue, and actually, we find that women will forgive because there's a nice offer or because we've got a new cocktail, whereas men are a little bit more like, whoa, I don't feel safe in there. So
really?
For us, we did a big study in Birmingham when I was there. And men, it was much more of a thing because actually men aren't as confrontational as everybody perceives they are. People want to feel safe on the night out. They want to be able to go out in a big group and not feel like they're going to get judged by the doorman. They want, you're allowed in if you've only got one friend, but if you've got 8, then, why would I let you in? Well, surely if you've got 8 friends, you're probably a good guy.
And you're going to spend more money as a group.
So for us, it is very much about safety. And, for most of the late night economy, and certainly, we get a bad rep because of the things that do happen and how the media portrays us. But as a whole, most late night managers value safety above anything else. And that's, to both sexes, and to everybody that's, there. We don't want to see anything happen to anybody. And certainly, we want to make sure that people get home safe, and working with the councils to make sure that there are provisions to make sure that people can get home safe, or that people that have had one too many are looked after without causing the NHS loads of drama is really, really important to us. So certainly in Brighton we have something called a safe space, and it's paid for by the late night and part of the council, and it's our door company supports their, them on the door and things. But essentially it's there to make sure that people are safe and looked after, and whether that's that they've lost their house keys and can't get in, or whether they've had too many and they need to be made sure that they're looked after.
Do you have a good relationship with all the other bars and clubs around here? Because we're pretty much a stone's throw away from everything.
Very much so, and it's again over the last 5 years that's probably become a lot more important in most cities. The whole Tier 4 thing isn't really a thing. From my point of view, if somebody else is busy, it means that the street's busy, which means that there's customers out. I want to see other people be massively successful, and certainly on a week-to-week basis, I speak to not only the other GMs in the area and other managers in the area, but also their regional managers. We're particularly successful on this street. So there's always that, what are you doing? What can we do? What are you, but actually we just want to see the street get busier and, stay safe, and, mean that everybody's journey of a night time is, full. So it isn't just, I can only go to one place because that's the only good place. It's about them having that journey of 3 or 4 different venues. The
longevity of your sort of career within this industry is quite, amazing, because 16 years in any industry, especially in today's market, is extraordinary. What keeps you involved? Why still be here?
Honestly, the people.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, I probably would have been. It was definitely about the late night and this is what it's massive, it's huge, it's we've put on this production and it's amazing. But now it's about watching the people grow within the industry and watching the next generation come through. But the industry's changed so much that my job 16 years ago is so different to what it is now.
In what sense?
Partly because of social, partly because there's certainly a difference in regards to the customer and clientele basis. Women drop off very, very much in late night. They get to sort of trainee manager level and then stop. So to be a GM, in late night is very strange.
Sorry to butt in there, we just hit a bit of a gold mine there. So they drop off at trainee GM level?
At trainee and manager level,
Why is that? Why would you put that down?
it's always put down to it's a boys' club, all these lads at the top, that's what it's about. And actually, it's really not.
Right.
It's actually customers. Customers, can be horrible, and they forget that actually you're just doing your job.
Just human.
And sometimes things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And as a whole, I'd love to say that everybody that comes in this venue is amazing, and actually as a whole, most people are. Customers and staff alike. But some people, we get it wrong, and it upsets people, or we don't get it wrong, and people are just upset. And unfortunately, women are a little less tolerable of that.
Okay. More emotional.
And we take it a lot more personally.
Okay.
So when we're there and we're talking about, we're getting screamed at by somebody, and it's normally women that scream. It's not normally guys. Guys tend to be a lot nicer to us. But from our point of view, we end up in a position where there are easier jobs.
Sure.
Some not so fulfilling. And actually, it's why I still do what I do. For me, turning a customer's, negative part into something positive, and that's, most people just want to be listened to.
What would be your transition from that then? You've got a screaming customer, they've had a bit too much to drink, they've lost a shoe, and it's a case of how are you now going to solve that? Or
it's about finding a win-win for both of us, and sometimes that's impossible to find, but most people complain because they want a solution, and it's about finding out what that solution is. And sometimes it's not about you and what's happened in your venue. It's the fact that earlier on they couldn't get into their hotel room, and they had to wait 2 hours, and actually you just got the brunt of it. And certainly in Brighton that happens with how transient our city is. But it's about finding, people want to be listened to, and people want that empathy part. And for us, that's it's about finding out what you'd like and what you'd desire and what can make this better, and actually caring enough to bother. Most complaints can be solved at the time. Most people aren't horrible. It's
sure.
It's
What makes a good GM?
Don't know. Ask a good one. For me, it's all about growing the people from below. And people that are at the same level as you. People talk about leaders being rather than managers now, and it's that's the important. If you use the word leader rather than manager, it's important. But leaders are only leaders if they're teaching people how to be leaders.
Correct.
And for me, I've had 18 GMs come from hopefully good GMs from my training. So and a huge amount of other managers, and that's the bit that's important. And getting people to find their niche and find their path.
Would you say a lot of it's through listening to the team rather than dictating to the team?
100%. Yeah, there's not. Realistically, there's no point in trying to dictate. You'd never go the business forward.
Have you had that in your experience, where you've been told what to do as opposed to?
Very much so.
Yeah.
And it changes you as a person and you as a manager.
Right.
Because everybody has feelings, and essentially it makes you a worse manager because you don't end up thinking. If I told you what to do every day, you just wait for me to tell you to do something else instead of coming up with an idea that might make Revolution £1 million. And certainly Revolution's all about that piece. It's about growing from within. A huge amount of our GM population comes from within. A huge amount of our area manager population comes from within. And we have lots of forums where people can share ideas, and some of them ideas are used across the whole business now. And one guy in a random site has come up with that. And that's really important for us, because actually, as much as we can pay £1 million in marketing, and we can pay £1 million for GMs to work in our business, essentially we also have here we have 70 members of staff.
70.
That's 70 ideas.
Wow.
Because that includes our shisha people that we don't employ,
Right.
but they're an outside agency, and our door staff.
Okay.
Because all of these people have ideas and deal with different things and different situations every day that I can't be privy to because I'm one person. So to be able to send all of those ideas up the chain is immense. You then times that across our whole estate. That's a huge amount of people. There are people in our company that are amazing at marketing that don't work for our marketing department. but they're at uni doing marketing.
Sure.
And listening to them people has helped our business a lot more than just going, well, I'm important and I've got a marketing degree already. For us, nobody's more important than anybody else, and that's right from the CEO.
I was going to say, is that an attitude across the business?
Oh, hugely.
So people will listen no matter where you are in the business. They will listen to you.
Hugely,
That's probably proven to the success then of Revs as to why they, you guys do keep growing, and as to why you guys have been an institute in the British nightlife for so long.
Oh, massively, and I think that there's a lot of a lot of people look at Revs as a superior bar, and in the industry because of what we do and what we achieve, and actually that isn't top down. It's very much bottom up, and I'm sure our CEO would say that all day long. He's all about the people, and he knows most of my staff's names, and he's not here every day, and that's important to him, and it's important to all the people in between him and me, to know and be able to walk in and go, I know who that person is, and I know they're at uni, and I know why they're here, and we're going to capitalise on what we can get from them and all the ideas while they're here, and hopefully coach them and get them into a position where they want to stay, and continue a career in the industry.
Is that so? Because you've only been here a year, I suppose maybe did you have to go through all those other companies to find Revs, or are you content? Not necessarily content, but are you the happiest you've been within your role at this particular company versus previous businesses?
I've worked for a number of businesses, and actually they all have their good and bad points.
Okay.
Revs for me delivers on what hospitality says it's about a lot. So if you see anybody's mission statement within hospitality, it'll say it's its people. Revs delivers on that really, really well. Some of the companies that I've worked for deliver on it, but I honestly say, and maybe it's because I still work for them, but for me, Revs delivers on it really, really well. Okay. It's such an integral part of what it's about, because without the people, then I can say I want every customer to be looked after. My CEO can say that he wants every customer to look after, but essentially, it's my people that do the looking after, and they can't look after if we don't look after them. Sure. And if we don't listen to their opinions.
How healthy is this industry at the moment from your perspective?
In regards to?
So there can be some doom and gloom surrounding the economy or nighttime industry as a whole. But from your perspective, is this an industry where you could see really taking off in the next 5 years? Is it something that's going to plateau, or is it on the downturn?
I think there'll always be a need for escapism. Right. And I think that as a business, we need to build on that escapism and what that's about. So it's become less and less about getting really drunk. It's become much more about the experience and sharing that with friends. And certainly within the industry, having an experience within a drinking experience has become much more popular. With things like Flight Club darts and junkyard golf and things like that. So you're actually doing an experience while.
Do you partner with them at all?
Not at all. And certainly Revolution as a brand has looked into some immersive things that we're looking to do over the next 6 months, where you're taking that experience piece to the next level. But late night, it's important. It's important for socially, and for people to be able to escape that 9 to 5 and do lots of things that they wouldn't do in their normal day-to-day life. Sure. So it's been around a long, long time. I can't imagine it suddenly disappearing. Yeah, of course. And there's some amazing brands out there that are doing lots and lots to make sure that people are staying engaged and continuing to come out. Not just us. There are some amazing people across the business. The business as a whole.
What are some of the ideas that you've put forward and that have been the most successful here, but other places as well?
In a previous company, I put in that essentially people should just get paid more for what they do. If they get if they've been with a company a while and they're doing things that they should be doing, why shouldn't we pay more? It's such a market in regards to I sell the same as somebody else, and my staff work really hard, and they work really hard over there. I can go over there for 10p more. For me, it's seen as a very low-paid job in England, and that's partly because of the difference in tipping in comparison to the US. So for me, getting the team paid more, by putting in incremental bonuses for whether they've taken more money or whether they've got great trip advisors because their service has been impeccable. And certainly, when I worked for Entertain, we put in a massive piece that, cost us a lot of money, but actually returned so much more because of the fact that, people stayed, our turnover massively increased, but our turnover of staff massively declined. And that's our biggest cost as a business, not only our actual payroll, but the turnover in payroll.
Yeah.
And retraining people costs a lot of money. But if we can keep the right people at the right level, then it's great. Revolution already do a lot of that. So actually, it's one of the things I really like about Revolution. You don't just earn your pay. There's lots of things you can earn because you're doing your actual job. Mm-hmm. And if you do it well, you get paid a lot more.
What's it like being a woman in this industry in 2019?
I don't think the boys' club exists like it used to. Okay. I don't think it, I think women definitely, and there's some amazing women across the board that are in really high positions within the industry. Yeah. And, that for me, there's a few that, are genuine, inspiring women. It's definitely, I say harder because of how women are perceived.
What do you mean by that?
You get that sort of, with guys, it's you're driven, you just, it might just be all about you, but you're a driven guy, you just want to go forward. Yeah, you're great. With women, it's like they're bitchy, they're emotional, and rather.
You go to any sales floor in any business, and men are exactly the same.
Oh, 100%.
It's ridiculous.
And it's just a perception of women within the as a general thing, right. And and it's not necessarily a sex thing anymore. It's more of a I have in regards to how I come across, I have a very masculine persona, and that has helped in a lot of things that I do. But and guys that have a very feminine persona struggle as much as women do in our industry, as much as they do everywhere, because it is, that guy's just bitchy. So I don't think it's necessarily about sex anymore. It's about how you come across and how, we judge, the masculine and female traits. But certainly, I think to a certain degree it's harder for a woman to move up in the industry just because of, if you are determined and driven, you tend to be classed as bossy and bitchy, and it's just and it is everybody says it about every industry. So
I just find it extraordinary. I just think it's to do with the individual. If you're driven, that's a good thing. If you're ambitious, it's a good thing. If you're arrogant to an extent, it can be a good thing. But I think you need to be all of those to move forward, especially in this industry, because as you said earlier, if people are going to be coming to you screaming and they're drunk and they're emotional, if you're not there as the manager to kind of put up guards and say, well, look, this is how it is, and be strong and determined, then you're just going to have people walk all over you, not only from a staff perspective, but the customers as well. And I suppose over the last few years, you've kind of understood that from experience and then moulded, you've got your own style, your own way of approaching it. And I suppose that's something you're going to teach people beneath you.
Yeah, definitely. And from a self-doubt point of view, women definitely self-doubt a lot more than men do.
Sure.
There was a big study that said if on a CV, on a job role, there was 10 things and a guy could do 9, he'd apply. And if a woman could do could do all 9, and there was one that she couldn't, she wouldn't. Whereas a guy would apply just because there was one thing on there that he could do.
I can't truck drive, but I've applied for loads of jobs. But
what's about? If you don't apply, you don't get.
Yeah, exactly.
So and I think that's just it's a very masculine female trait. So for me, there are less. But also a large part of that is less women want to do this job.
Sure.
So, you can't judge, if there was loads of women that was failing at it and, they just weren't getting anywhere and there was a brick wall at the top, I'd understand the contention that sometimes happens when women don't get paid, the same and, and stuff. But actually, less women want to do this part of the job. Right. And, which is, fine, because you should be able to do what you want to do. And certainly, from a pay point of view, I've never been in a position where I've been paid less than a male counterpart.
Okay.
It's a very fair industry in that way. And nobody's ever sort of stopped me from progressing because of the fact that I'm a woman. It's just, less people want to do it as a woman.
I suppose, as you said a second ago, that does come down to the individual, because you don't seem like the type of person that would stand for nonsense. Or if you found out that someone was getting more money for you than for doing the same job, you seem like the type of person that would kick up a fuss and make sure it's evened out, shall we say? Yeah,
and our industry is quite strange because GMs don't get paid a flat rate, so GMs get paid based on the site and the profit that the site can give. I've also been very lucky to run some exceptional sites, which obviously pay more. So for me, I wouldn't probably pick a site that wasn't challenging and didn't take a lot of money. So I wouldn't expect to get paid that lower salary.
Sure.
Where certainly throughout the industry there is that, because it is based on site. So as a whole, we could probably get away with paying women less if that was what we were about, because every site pays differently. However, we're not. We're about paying people fairly, because actually if we can put the best person in that role, it doesn't matter whether they came from outside the business, whether they're a woman, whether they're a guy, or whether there's some random octopus that just is absolutely amazing as a bar manager. I'm pretty sure we'd just employ them. Sure. For us, it's about getting the right person in that position to drive the business and the team forward.
As we wrap up here, what's kind of the next step in your development within the industry? Would you say it's continue as a GM for the next couple of years and see, or would you like to move more into the corporate offices and run that side of things? I
don't think I'm ready to relinquish the being at site level. Okay. It's fun. There's a lot of people that we get to train and do stuff with. I definitely have ambition to grow further as an area manager. And for me, eventually I'd like to be an FD, which everybody's always a bit weirded out by, because nobody from ops ever wants to go into finance. But I'd like to be in a position where the financial officer, was able to say, well, this is why you need to spend this amount of money, not actually we only can spend this amount of money. So for me, that's where I'd like to be in the next 10 years. But from a day-to-day point of view, I'm very happy with the industry that I'm in, and certainly with the Brighton economy, and what's happening with that. So it's a great city. Revs is a great company to work for. Just plugging that a little bit. As a whole, I'm very happy.
And one last question: what advice would you give to someone just breaking into the industry now?
See it as a real career. Don't let people tell you it's not. I run a multi-million pound business here, and people, you just run a pub. I'm like, why are you there in the day? Well, because I have a business. It's hard, I have loads of people that rely on me to train them and nurture them, and in Britain we definitely see hospitality as not a proper career, when actually some of the people that within it are absolutely amazing. And it's definitely a proper career, and actually a very well paid one if you get the right job. So
why do you think that is though? Why do you think people look at this industry as not a career? They just see it as
it's the whole service piece.
Right.
If you go abroad to Europe, people train for 3 years, up to 6 years to be a waiter.
Well, there was in Venice, there's that place in Venice, the famous one on the square, where people have to literally go through a whole academy before they can even hold the tray. Not deliver it, just to hold it. And then it's another year's worth of training to be able to deliver. So why do you think we have such a poor mindset when it comes to servers?
Number one, you don't have to have a degree, although a lot of managers have a degree. Because we found ourselves in bars when we were at uni. But it's certainly, it's just deemed not a career that people would aspire to do. And actually, we're one of the only countries that sees that in that way.
Okay.
Certainly in America and certainly in Europe, it's deemed as a very big, great career, which is why, with the worry of Brexit and, I'd hate to lose some of my team that are older and much more, about the industry. I'd hate to lose them from Europe, if that stops, because they deem it as a proper career, so they can stay in it forever. Whereas, a lot of people in England it's just a uni job and then I get off. It is definitely a career. You can earn very good money in it. Some of the GMs that I work with and myself earn a huge amount of money. When you look at it against people that are doctors, there is some but you also run a business, and it's a genuine job. It's not I just serve beer all day. I think I say a lot. One day I'll get a real job. And the reason I say that is purely because it's so much fun. So I don't see it as really a job or work. It's very much like it's become a lifestyle. But certainly, I'd advise anybody that was interested to definitely work hard at it and get on that ladder as early as possible, and just find a company that fits them, because each company is different and has different things that are good.
Good stuff. Well, I completely agree with that. And Leah, I know we kind of caught you off guard today. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Many thanks.
Thank you.